Good morning. We are climbing the Chumash Trail. And what time is it? It's really early, like 6:30. And we are doing this twice. We're going all the way to the top and all the way back down twice. And my feet are really happy. I was just telling Ray, I like to change my attitude, and it changes a lot of things. So I think my feet and the rocks are friends. Good morning. And so changing your attitude changes a lot of things. Do you have anything to add on attitude or anything?
Well, definitely attitude changes your altitude. What that means is just have a positive, happy attitude, and you can do sometimes more than you can imagine. But it starts in the mind.
That is right. No wonder I like you. So we have questions and answers to answer. We're gonna get to that. But first we're gonna climb this trail. We're going way up here. It doesn't look that steep, but I can show you when it gets really steep how steep this is gonna actually be. Okay, I told you it's gonna get hard. This is actually straight up right here. You can see we're coming from straight down there. We're not actually having to go on our hands and knees quite yet. You can see how beautiful it is. Look at that. It's like a movie set. It's so beautiful here. And the ocean is over there. Let's see if you can see it. I have a migraine and the sun is like right in my face. But you can see the sun. I mean the ocean. And this is super steep. You can see climbing up this. So just a super quick film to show that we got up here to the top and we're going back down and then we're coming right back up. So we'll see you there. So we're still going down, and I want to demonstrate how steep this is. This is where we started, but if you look, it looks like it drops off. And I was like, wait, is this the right trail? You can see there are people way down there. Do you see they have red and purple and white on? I wonder if you can see those people on that trail down there. And there's the ocean over there, but this is like straight down. The trail we're going on goes straight down that thing, so it's very steep. Okay, we are now going to answer your questions like we promised. And the first one, so we're here up on the Chumash Trail still. We came back up, so we're about halfway up the second time. And our first question is from Nomopoly 2. And the first question was, did you both run barefoot? This was with regard to our last video about the half marathon that we ran. And no, we didn't both run barefoot. But Ray does have experience running barefoot. And then follow-up question to that was, if so, how has Ray adapted from walking and running with shoes to being barefoot? So I'll let Ray talk a little bit about that.
Hi YouTube. So the answer to the question is no, we both did not run barefoot on the half marathon last weekend. I used my shoes to run the half marathon, but I have ran barefoot on a trail, hiking trail, and that's basically the King Gillette Ranch hiking trail in Southern California. So the way I eased into it, I basically started to walk to the corner of my house, the corner street, basically walking barefoot a couple of times a week. And what that does is that it, see, the bottom of our feet are very sensitive, so what you want to do is begin to build, what do you call it? You want to desensitize the nerves on the bottom of your feet because they're very sensitive. So for example, if you step on a little rock, it's going to feel like it's going to hurt, in other words. So what you want to do is little by little start taking your shoes off, start walking around the house barefoot, then go out to the street, then go further and further. Like what I do sometimes, I'll go maybe a quarter mile barefoot, just walking, don't run, just walk. And what that'll do, it'll start to build calluses also on the bottom of your feet. And then so that's what I was doing for several weeks before. And then so about a month ago, the weather was nice, it was overcast, so the ground wasn't too hot. So what happened was we started hiking barefoot first, and it felt real nice on my feet. And then we just started running, and it felt fine. It was fine. So we ran probably about a mile barefoot, and that was awesome. So that's my transition. I'm not fully barefoot yet. So for example, on this hike that we're on right now, I'm not barefoot. I'm wearing tennis shoes.
Should we show our shoes?
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing I wanted to add about when you were running barefoot on the King Gillette Trail, it was hot that day and the ground was hot. I'm looking at a rabbit running across the road over there. Sorry.
Yeah, I could see it.
It was hot and so we're going to talk about heat also and how to deal with hot trails. But you have experience running on a hot trail and we have a story about that.
Yeah, so about a month ago, we went to Catalina Island, and right when we got off the boat, we took our shoes off and we started walking around the cement barefoot. It felt real nice. But then throughout the day, I guess, I don't know, I want to say maybe half an hour in, the sun got real bright, and then in certain areas of the road, it became really, really hot. Yeah. And then, so what happened, I kept going, I kept walking, even though it hurt a little bit, but then I developed blisters actually. But actually that kind of helped because the blisters turned into calluses, and it made the bottom of my feet harder, you know. So that's another thing.
Yeah. The bricks, they were bricks, so the bricks had absorbed all of the heat of the whole day. It was late afternoon, and I've been going barefoot a lot, and it was burning my feet. So if it was burning my feet, it was bad. And we're going to talk more about that, but sorry I interrupted you a little bit.
Yeah, so then what else did we do? So that was Catalina Island, and then what else? When it was hot. Okay, so going back to the hike, the King Gillette hike, it started getting hot actually, and then so I put my shoes on. Yeah, because again, you don't want to burn your feet, you know.
Yeah.
And then what we were doing actually, we're running up to bushes that had shades, like a shade, and so we would wait there a little bit.
Yeah.
And cool our feet off, and then run some more.
That's a good strategy.
And then cool your feet off a little bit, then run some more.
So what we mean is, like, okay, you can see down here on the trail, like pretend it's really sunny right here on this trail, and bushes will make like little shade, and you can put your feet under the shade of the little bushes. That's what we're talking about. There's a bunch of people coming, and we're kind of blocking this trail. But look at the ocean down here. Isn't this beautiful? So we're gonna answer more questions later, but we're gonna get out of the way of these people right now. So we are getting closer. This is our second time to ascend. This is the back way up. You can see what a beautiful view it is. But I want to quickly get to my next question, and that is from Mario's Right Nut. How does your foot strike the ground, and how does your heel follow? And also he asked about how you deal with the heat. But first, so the way the foot strikes the ground, I'm landing on the ball of my foot, and so that's what strikes the ground, and the toes just kind of follow naturally. And I wish I could show you, but I think it's easier just to explain. And the heel actually does tap the ground just a little bit. My mom always said, it looks like your heel is touching the ground even though it barely taps. So one way to tell is how dirty my heel gets. It gets a little bit of dirt on it. So I think that it's mostly the ball of my foot. So most of the calluses and the thick skin is on the ball of my foot. And that is the answer to that question. If you have follow-up questions about that, just let me know. And how do you deal with heat? Well, we live in Southern California, and I live right on the beach, so it does not get very hot. So here's the ocean right here. So we don't have heat like you probably do I think you're in Houston or Texas somewhere. So we don't have heat quite the same. So running early in the morning would be a great strategy for that. Or in the evening, but the later in the day you go, the more that the ground has absorbed the heat. And the problem with that is it's going to be hotter, obviously, the longer you wait. So the earlier you can get out in the heat, the better for how hot the ground is going to be. Oh, that kid made it all the way to the top. That's awesome. Look at this little kid made it all the way to the top. That is really cool. So Yeah, dealing with the heat is not really so much of an issue here where I live by the beach. Like in LA, it would certainly be an issue, and at the LA Marathon, I was a little concerned about it getting hot, but it wasn't really an issue the day I ran the LA Marathon. So if you have more questions about that, let me know too. So I apologize, it's taking me a long time to upload this video. I wanted to get to the last set of questions, which are from Jose Roberto. And he asks, how is your day by day? Do you use shoes at work and at home? Yes, I do have to wear shoes to work, but I'm always barefoot at home. So I think the more you can go barefoot, the better. And then just in everyday life, I try to go barefoot as often as possible. So if I go anywhere where I can be barefoot, I try to be barefoot. And you asked, sometimes do you run with shoes, for instance, when the ground is so hot or so cold? And actually, I never run with shoes on. I always wear shoes. One instance might be when I'm hiking. I always bring some flip-flops in my backpack to wear if the ground gets incredibly rocky, which sometimes it has. But not usually so much because it's hot or cold. There was an instance where it was so hot when we were hiking that I had to wear the flip-flops. A couple of instances. Do you prefer to run barefoot on pavement or dirt roads? Well, where I live, almost all of the roads are pavement. I think dirt roads would be really awesome. So if I could find trails that were mostly dirt, see around here the trails are mostly rocky. So I would say I prefer to run on pavement, even though dirt roads would be really ideal. And you also ask how to run on gravel easier. There really is no easy way that I know of. Just take it slow. I think the slower you go, the easier it is. And it takes mental strength to kind of tell yourself that it doesn't hurt as much as you think it does, to kind of talk yourself out of it hurting. And do you think it could be good training, or must it be avoided to run on gravel? I think it can be good, maybe not in excess, and if you feel your feet bruising, then I would definitely stop. But I don't think it hurts anything to do it in short spurts, and I do make myself run on some really rocky roads for that reason. So I think this video might almost be too long to upload to YouTube, so I'm gonna end right there. Have a great day, and let me know if you have any other questions. Have a great day.